again, and welcome to another exciting video with your old mate Roger the gardener here in the school garden. Today we're going to sow some more sweet pea seeds, doing this much later than we would normally. Here's some we made earlier. These sweet peas seeds were sown way back, well, about 5 weeks ago in February, which is about the normal time to do them. And we'll plant those out soon, out into the grounds, and they should be in flower by kind of middle to late June. But because we're in 2020 here, and a year that's probably going to go down in history as the year when we had to battle with coronavirus, and so we find ourselves in an unusual situation where we've had to send the pupils home, or at least most of them home, and so we're having to replan the garden a little bit, so that maybe we're going to have more of these that will come into flower in the autumn when the pupils hopefully will be back in the school. So we're doing a second crop of these sweet peas here at the end of March, and we're hoping then that these will be in flower September, October, for when the pupils are back. Still gonna grow these out in the garden, but just going to do a later crop as well. So here's our seeds, and these are a mixture of these packeted seeds here. We also managed to collect some of our own seeds last year from our sweet pea plants in the school garden. So I've mixed in some of those, which I'm guessing aren't going to be to the same quality as these commercially grown ones. Some of them were a little bit small, but there were some good ones amongst them, so we've just mixed them in. So we've got a mixture of colours and a mixture of grades, I suppose. And I like to do sweet peas in clusters, little groups here. So I'm going to do about 5 or 6, maybe 6 or 7 seeds together in each of these cells here. We've got a 6-pack here that we're going to do a few 6-packs of these later sweet peas. So I'm just doing them in a cluster because they're quite flimsy, weak growing plants. Sweet peas, they do need canes and things or twigs to support them as they grow. I find that by having I'm going to be a little bit more generous in some of these. By having a few growing together, they kind of support each other. They kind of grow in a nice bushy, thick clump. So now, having got those kind of 6 or so seeds in each of those cells, firm it down just a little bit, not pressing too hard, just getting the contact between the seed and the compost, and then top dressing with a little bit more compost, just a couple of millimeters of compost on top there. There you go. That's all there is to it. Sweet pea seeds, quite easy to grow. So what these guys need now, of course, is a drink. So we're going to take them outside, give them a quick spray of water over the top, settle them down, and then put them into the greenhouse. It's not a heated greenhouse. Well, to be honest, there's a frost stacked greenhouse in there. So if it got really cold, it would just kick in to keep the frost off these. But sweet peas actually are quite hardy as bedding plants go, so they can take some cooler weather. So we're going to take them into the greenhouse, and I will see you in there. Hello, there we are. Welcome to our little greenhouse. So I'm going to do a few packs of these ready for us to plant out in a month or maybe 6 weeks time, probably around about early May. These will be ready for planting out. Say later than usual, but we just want to get this late crop. So I've got a watering can here with a sprinkler on the end there, so that we're not drowning these things, and just going to lightly water them there. Let the first kind of drenching of water soak in for a few seconds. There we go. Otherwise, if you soak them too much too soon, all the compost will just run off the side and maybe take some seeds with it. So it's best to let that soak in, and then we can give it another quick drink again. Perfect. There we go. So some people recommend soaking sweet pea seeds overnight before you plant them. I've tried it, and to be honest, it didn't make any difference with us. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just we find doing it this way works perfectly well. If you want to soak them overnight, no problem with me. You have my blessing. So when these guys have grown, and they've grown to about this sort of height, a couple of inches high, 5-6 centimeters, maybe a little bit more, we'll pinch out the tips of the young plants to help them become even more bushy. And if you search on our YouTube channel, you will see that one of our more popular videos from a few years back actually shows you how to pinch out and then plant out those young seedlings. So the next step, having kind of sown the seed and gotten to germinate, that's covered on one of our previous videos. I think what I'll do to make life easier, I'll put a link to that video at the end of this one. Sounds like a good plan, doesn't it? Okay, let's see if it works. Thank you. Bye.